Hello and welcome to the WGG how-to video for filtering yucky water. In this activity, learners will take on the STEM career of an environmental engineer. Environmental engineers use the principles of engineering, soil science, biology, and chemistry to develop solutions to environmental problems. They are often involved in efforts to improve recycling, waste disposal, public health, and water and air pollution control. The STEM big idea for this learning activity is water purification. Water purification is the process of removing undesirable chemicals and biological contaminants from water. In this activity, learners will focus on a specific aspect of the water purification process, filtration. They will use a water bottle to design and test a portable filtration system that leads to cleaner water. For this activity, you will need multiple items. To make yucky water, you will need one empty gallon jug, iron vitamin tablets, a small cup for rinsing the tablets, measuring spoons, and apple cider vinegar. The materials needed to create the filters for the yucky water include activated charcoal, zeolite, sand, coffee filters, rubber bands, eyedroppers, kitchen strainers, measuring spoons, paper and plastic plates, 8-ounce plastic cups, and soft plastic water bottles. Before kids walk in, make sure you familiarize yourself with the design challenge. Be sure to get the materials needed for this activity. As well, read the facilitator guide because it includes very important information. And finally, make sure that you set up the activity before the kids walk in so that you're ready to go and have fun. This activity requires more preparation than the others. Prior to the session, you need to prepare the yucky water. Start with the iron vitamin tablets. Rinse 2 vitamin tablets to remove the coating. To do this, you want to put in a water cup and swish around and dump out until the coating is removed and the white portion of the vitamin is shown. Once the coating is removed, you want to crush the pill for faster dissolving and put it in the gallon water container. You want to add water part way up. To create the smell, use apple vinegar, which also creates a nice yellow color. You want to add in about 7/8 teaspoons of vinegar. The longer the water sits, the more the iron vitamin oxidizes and the more yellow the water becomes. You will also need to rinse the filtering materials ahead of time to remove any dust or particulates. Place the activated charcoal in the strainer and let water run over it until it runs clean. Similarly, you will place the zeolite in the strainer and run water over it until the water runs clean. To clean the sand, you want to place it in a container and fill with water. You'll want to stir. As you stir, floating particulates and some dirt will appear. So again, you will rinse and repeat until the water runs clear. The final part of the setup includes creating the test samples for learners to compare their filtered water against. You will create 4 samples in water bottles, and you will label each water bottle 4, 3, 2, 1. The most yucky water bottle will be labeled 4, and the most clean water will be labeled 1. To create bottle number 4, add 2 cups of the original yucky water to the bottle. To create bottle number 3, add 1/4 of the original yucky water, and then fill it with clean tap water, cover, and shake. To create bottle number 2, take 3/4 cup of water from bottle number 3 and add it. Then add clean tap water, cap it, and shake it. To create bottle number 1, add 1/4 cup of water from bottle number 2, then fill the rest with clean tap water, cap, and shake it. You have now created a gradient or a range of test samples for clarity and smell. As a reminder, please refer to the facilitator's guide for more detailed instructions for how to set up and prepare for this activity. To get kids excited about this activity, lead a discussion to introduce the activity. Ask them, why is it important to drink clean water? What can happen if you drink unclean water? And how can we make sure that water from lakes or rivers is clean enough for us to drink? Have learners work in pairs to generate ideas and discuss the answer to these questions, and then have them share back with the whole class. Now it's time to discuss some of the highlights of this activity. When learners log into the WGG learning environment, they will see an overview of all the steps that they will complete for this activity. The first step is the introduction, which provides background for this activity as well as presents the design challenge. Learners are challenged to work as a team member alongside other environmental engineers to remove the smell and color from a yucky water sample. They must use the provided materials of zeolite, activated charcoal, sand, and an empty water bottle. Instead of our usual criteria and rating system, this activity asks learners to evaluate their design by generating a filter effectiveness score, which takes into account the smell and the clarity of the filtered water sample, as well as the cost of the materials. Learners begin to develop knowledge about the different filtering materials, such as sand, activated charcoal, and zeolite. At the start of the build prototype phase, learners will use their new knowledge to make design decisions about their filter with regard to the type and amount of materials needed. To create the filter, learners will use scissors to cut off the bottom of the water bottle and place tape around it to prevent any cuts in case the rim is sharp. They will then cut a portion of a coffee filter and place around the top of the water bottle and secure with a rubber band. This will prevent the filtering materials from falling out when the bottle is inverted and the yucky water is being poured through. Using their design decisions, learners will begin to add the filtering materials to the water bottle. Order matters because the activated charcoal will float, so it needs to be sandwiched in between the sand and or the zeolite to be most effective. Learners will test and evaluate their filters by pouring water through the filter. The filtered water will be used to compare for smell and color or clarity. Using the test samples created ahead of time, learners will compare the smell of their water to each of the water bottles and assign a score. For example, if the water smells closest to bottle number 2, the smell score is a 2. Similarly, learners will compare their filtered water against the 4 test samples created ahead of time to determine their clarity score. So, if their filtered water is most similar in color to bottle number 3, their clarity score would be a 3. They will use their test scores to evaluate their design and determine the filter effectiveness. For example, a learner whose filtered water scored a 2 for smell and a 3 for clarity and cost $1.75 would yield a filter effectiveness score of 10.5. Learners will log back in to the WGG learning environment to record their scores and reflect on how they might redesign their filter. Now it's time for a few facilitator tips where the gotchas can get you. I would like to reiterate that preparation is essential. At least the day before, make the yucky water. Clean and dry the filtering materials. Block off at least 1 hour so you can ensure that you are ready and prepared for the learners when they come into their session. For the filter design, remember puncture first, cut second when cutting off the bottom part of the water bottle. Tape the edges to prevent any injuries in case that cut part is sharp. And remember that the charcoal floats, so we want to make sure that it is sandwiched in between the other materials such as the zeolite and the sand. Note again that this activity generates an effectiveness score when learners are testing their filter design, which is different from the usual rubric that you've seen in the other activities. Also, kids will self-select for smell and clarity. Be sure to encourage experience and not scores as students use their creativity and new knowledge to create a water filter. After the session, be sure to complete your facilitator survey. And remember to have fun as you engineer your learning environment for the kids at your club.